Alright, welcome back to another video on Project VQ. It has been a while, but then I can't really do anything because we are in the middle of winter and it is cold as heck out there. And boy, how I wish it is still fall. But then again, winter is only a couple of months long. We are 2 months away from spring, so that's pretty good. So far, so good. Winter has been pretty smooth sailing. This is obviously going to be a car wash video, but more than anything, it's gonna be a ranting video. I've wanted to do a ranting video for a while now, mostly because I want to challenge myself to speak for at least 10 minutes or so, just about random car stuff, just to see how much of a car guy I am. I don't think I am that much of a car guy because I don't do meets and I don't do a lot of stuff that car people do because they go places and they meet other people and they enjoy other people's car. There is only a couple of cars in this world that I enjoy, and the first one is the Nissan 370Z, which I obviously have. The next one is probably a Nissan GTR, preferably Nismo, and the one after that is probably a Porsche 911 or a BMW i8. Now, some of those are pretty much questionable because a i8 is technically a mixture between sports car or supercar. Not exactly a mixture, but a blend or a step in the middle, I guess, between a supercar or a sports car. But then again, a base Porsche or a mid-trim Porsche like a 911 or 911S will probably be in the same class too, because they have slightly more performance than the Z, only going from like 350 to 400 horse. So I guess I like that class, the mid 12 second to 13 second class. I mean, there is not a lot of car in the 11 second class that I will probably like or want to keep around. Mostly because I know my limitation, and mostly because it just invite a lot of judgment. So I don't think I would go that far as in collecting something super. This vehicle is obviously in the class of vehicle that is meant to sit around, and people will think that it will accumulate its value over time. But then again, that depends on history, and that depends on what the next car is gonna have to offer, and that also depends on what movie or what video game is gonna feature this vehicle that's gonna hype it up. So we don't usually buy these vehicles and think that they will appreciate over time, because when you do the math and the logic, they don't. Like a 1970 Mustang for $3,000 or $4,000 is well in its right worth $20,000 in today's value because of the economy and inflation and whatever that may have affected the value of the dollar to drop to that kind of number. Now it may even change in the future because it always change. And $3,000 or $4,000 to $20,000 is just a rough estimate as far as the value of the dollar is over time. Now you factor in the amount of time you have to spend with the vehicle, the amount of chemical you have to use with the vehicle. So you're talking about a car that you have to keep it running, make sure that it's running, and you have to go through all that trouble, all the chemical, all that time and money spent. Sometimes it's in storage, sometimes it's in your old house, sometimes it's in your barn, right? That's money and time and effort. And those things are not invaluable. Like, you could put a price tag on it. So I will understand that you could fetch a Mustang for $50,000, $60,000. Now take it to something that is more recent, like a 98 Supra. 98 Supra, top of the line back then, is $40,000. 98 to 2020 in that time, just think about the amount of money you have to throw at it to make sure it's running in top shape. Oh, you don't drive it at all, it appreciate, economy happen, yada 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 yada. Supra and its equal exchange value to today's time, it's already in the 60 or 70 or 80K. Now you factor in all the money that you spent, the time and whatever that I just tell you about the Mustang. Now it is well within its worth 100K too. So at the end of the day, do you really get something out of it? You don't. In terms of economic value, you don't. The only thing you get out of it is just the joy of having it and enjoying it. Just the joy. You don't get any appreciation, you don't get any extra value out of it. Somebody in their right mind that is not a car person will just be like, oh, that's a lot of time wasted. When you could have done something else to improve your lives. But that's basically what it comes down to. So no, they do not appreciate. The only scenario that you will get a vehicle that appreciate or a vehicle that you could sell it for a profit is if your neighbor Bob has a 69 Camaro and he's just selling it to you for $4,000 and you know that it is worth 17 in the market if you clean it up and you make it run. That's the only scenario that you could actually profit from sports car. Or maybe you bought a limited edition 911 GT3 RS and now they don't make it anymore and you turn around and be like, oh, I bought mine for 140K, who wants it for 160K? That's the only time that you will actually have a sports car or a car that I appreciate. Other time, 90% of the time, the only way that you could get money out of a car is to do it like how the dealer do it. You undervalue the vehicle, you underestimated the vehicle and hope that they will pay or hope that they will let you buy it for that amount. And then you could turn around and sell it for more. That's the only way that you can appreciate with a vehicle. So the idea that people are just collecting vehicle and thinking that they will appreciate over time, no, they don't. The economy wouldn't allow it. That being said, and I'm gonna go into an electric car rant here, the internal combustion engine is really hard to maintain and it is a very inefficient beast. There's a lot of things that goes on into an internal combustion engine that make it run. And over time, nobody that gets into a car will save anything. You could call it an investment, but it's more like a liability. Because you buy your brand new Corolla for $26,000, 10 years down the road, it's probably only worth $10,000 now, and you think that it holds value because it's got a pretzel on it. No, it doesn't. Think about the amount of gas you have to put in there, the oil changed, O2 sensor going out, air filter, yada, 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 yada. Just a lot of shit that goes wrong. I mean, if you have a Tesla, not the expensive one, the cheapest one, keep it 10 years down the road, it may have lost 20, 30, 40 miles from its overall, say it has 250 mile range. It's down to 200 range only, and you kept it for 10 years, and you only charge electricity in it. You got a winner. You're not moving that far away from the $35,000 that you initially pay for it. Probably at best you're sitting at 40 because electric cost is so cheap and there's very little maintenance that goes into it. Yeah, this is basically turning into an electric car rant because the logic is there, the math is there. I don't know who in their right mind didn't think of making an electric sports car because it is so cheap to maintain. And what's frustrating is that every manufacturer out there can make fast electric sedan or SUV, but they won't make a sports car because they just know that that is the car. Oh, this BMW has to be a hybrid. It's a sports car, but it's a hybrid. This NXS has to be a hybrid. This Ferrari has to be a hybrid. This 918 Spider has to be a hybrid. It's like, what the heck is wrong with you people? This is the exact niche that needs to be an electric car. Do you know why? Because you don't drive your sports car every day. You only drive it in the weekend or whenever you have the time. And most of the time it's in the garage, probably charging. And that's the reason why they don't make electric sports cars, because there are people like me that totally understand it. That will be the car and probably the last car. And the dealer will never hear from me again. Now we're coming back to the Z, and just think about the amount of maintenance I have to throw into the Z. Every 3,000-4,000 mile, fully synthetic oil. In a couple of years, it's gonna have aftermarket intake, aftermarket exhaust. It's beautiful. You could keep it up with the times. It could be faster and faster, and you can grow with it. But at the same time, it's very expensive. This is a what you will call a slippery slope. Just keep on throwing money at the problem. So that's something to think about when you think about buying a car, letting it sit for a while, and hoping that it will appreciate, or you can sell it for more money in years to come. You don't. Why do people collect cars? It's because it's your American right to do. You know, collecting car is as American as apple pie. And we live in a country that allow us to own more than one car, and you could do whatever the heck you want with it. That's pretty awesome. I mean, you look at Europe, where you will have 3 families borrowing one car, sharing one car. Think about that. So why do I have so many cars? Because I can. That's pretty much it. And why do I have a Z over a GTR? Because when you do all the math and insurance and maintenance and everything, that is the car. It's cheaper to insure than a Civic. So why would I get a Civic? So there are certain things when people make their purchasing and buy or whatever, you don't do it on emotional impulse. When you do it on emotional impulse, you're going to end up suffering. And people always buy cars with the intention to keep it forever. But that's just emotion talking, Because in life, things happen. Sometimes you have a kid, you just have to get rid of your sports car. Sometimes you buy a house, the car is collateral. So the idea to be able to collect something or regret not collecting something is just ridiculous. And that is something that I have to say, I have to tell you, as we watch me clean this thing so nice and so clean. Because I can, and because it is what an American should do. I mean, where else would you have this kind of open road? Where else in the world will you have this kind of right? Do you know how much it costs somebody to register and drive in Europe, in Germany, specifically? Is tire foam? In America, it's only $30. $30 and you get your license. And you know what? You don't have to learn it on a manual. You don't have to learn it by somebody that's certified. Your uncle can teach you. Your grandma can teach you. That is American as hell. And that is why I appreciate sports cars so much, and that is why I am cleaning this thing like a work of art. Because I can. Should be able to sit like this for a week until I start collecting dust again.